Howdy folks, welcome back to Space Engineers. It is apparently very, very windy. I've been busy, as you can see, and tiny miners have been busy. So let me get you caught up to speed here. I've got 3 tiny miners. Apparently we've got a gun going off somewhere. And they're all pretty much idle right now because most stuff is full. I did go ahead and redo the manufacturing setup here. I've got a large cargo container and an actual full-size refinery now. So the ore comes in here. I've got sorters set up so the stone goes into the basic refinery. And then all the other ores. Actually, I think I've got this set for iron and silicon. Yeah, iron, silicon, and scrap right now. I can pull in other stuff as needed. But those get pulled into the big refinery, and then those ingots go back out into the storage. I went ahead and moved the survival kit, and I went with the DLC version just for something different. And I am eating food like crazy. One thing I quickly realized as I started scaling this up a bit, especially this guy right here, I needed more power. So as you can see, I built another wind tower. I've also got a little bit of solar action going on over here, as well as 4 of the kelp farms. So we've got algae coming in. I did take a little run back over to the original base and grabbed like 110 of the crisps and brought them back. I stopped by that wrecked ship and went ahead and claimed it. Thank you for the comment. The claim basically just makes it so it won't despawn. And I checked the cargo containers. There's some decent stuff in there. At some point I'll need to either take the little ship or build a different ship and go over there and kind of grind that down and get all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff there. Unknown signal. I've turned that off how many times? It keeps turning itself back on. I don't know how that does, but anyhow, we'll ignore that. Ah, the storm passed. So, what do we got going on over here? Well, I've been busy, and the cold doesn't seem to affect the crops at all. The only thing that seems to affect them is water. If they don't have water, they die. That's been my experience. I can't say it's extensive testing, but I've grown plenty of crops with just the outdoors. But I'm going to build a greenhouse just for the aesthetics, like looks of it. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do the pass-through of the piston. So this may change, but for right now, I had this built up and got that all welded out, the bottom layer. And then I'm getting ready to weld up all the farm plots. But I don't know if I have enough materials. So what I want to do is I want to build a little data center. That's what I call it anyway. So we'll use small grid like computers and timers and stuff like that. Not computer stuff, programmable blocks. And we'll get some stuff set up. I want to get Izzy's inventory manager and have it manage the assembly so we have a minimum stock of everything. I know there's other mods for that as well, but I like using Izzy's inventory manager. So where do I want to put that? That's a great question. I might just kind of put it right here. So let's get what I call a little data center built out, because I'm in IT, so I'm used to thinking in those terms. So we've got the hinge part and the hinge itself. I have noticed, I don't know if it's this update or what, I'd get lag every once in a while. It runs beautifully and then the whole thing will just slow down to a crawl occasionally. I don't know what that's all about. Alright, let's bend this guy down. And I didn't actually need to weld that up. That's alright. We'll get it moved. So I'm going to turn on the hinge lock. I wanted to put a medium head on here. So we go to attach. Medium head. You can do the small head as well. This just gives me more surface area to start putting stuff on. And then I can't remember, do I have... I don't know if I have this on any of my blocks. There we are. I'll get some timer blocks. And event controllers. We will need those as well. And then I want to get some programmable blocks. Let's see, event controller wise, I know I want at least an event controller for my hab door. And then I'm probably going to need an event controller for the farm. And then probably some timer blocks as well. And I'm going to use the automaton, because they look kind of cool. So we'll just do... We'll do that, and then we'll put a programmable block, which I think is a completely different item. We'll put one there for Izzy's. I'll get rid of the weld pad. We'll throw that on there. Okay, let's get this welded up. Beautiful. And then I'm going to want an LCD. Can't remember if it's 1 or 2. Let's go ahead and make a tall. I think there's a tall LCD for the output of this. So if we go grab the... Is there no expanded? I think... Oh no, that's why. I want the tall one. My bad. Five by 3, 3 by 3. I thought they were... Oh no, you have to... You can join them together. That's what I'm thinking of. I'll have to remember how to do that. There's a way to tell Izzy's to use 2 of the panels as one. I've got a little too much stuff in here, so let's dump some of that out. Actually, let's just do that. We'll grab a little bit of stuff just so we can place things down. Looks like we're probably out of displays. I've kind of forgotten how to make this work. Is it IIM in brackets? We'll see if that works. And then I need to go to this guy and add the script. So we want the programmable block, this guy. And this will be IIM. And then we're going to go to... Where is the... Oh, right. I'm almost forgotten how to space engineers. Oh, I'm not subscribed to that. All right, let me go get this fixed. Man, I wish the meat was back on the menu, but I have no idea where that wolf was. I'm gonna go get that mod added. I'm gonna turn off unknown signals again, and I'll be right back. All right, now we got Izzy's script. I'm just turning off the refinery stuff. I don't want to do anything with the refineries. Oh. Space engineers. Oh, there it goes. I think it woke up. Alright, it is doing stuff. Oh, it's complaining about ice. I might have to make some other tweaks for that. Also, there's a way to make this LCD work, so I'll figure that out off camera, and I'll set up... You can set up like your limits and stuff on the materials. So let's go ahead and get these... Let's get this at least built up so I can finally automate my door. And while we're here, let's just have it make some displays, as we're always out of those. Let's go ahead and get all these built up. I've got quite a few components, so we actually had enough to build these up. I'm a little rusty. I haven't used Izzy's inventory manager for a while. Okay, let's set up the event controller. This is going to be hab door, so I can go find it. And then did I actually name this door? Probably not. Offset door hab. There we go. We can nominate this from basically any control panel. So If I search for Hab, now we can go to the event controller for that. And we want to say door finished, open or close. And I want the Hab door, so we're going to add that to the list. And then when the door is opened, oh, I need to set up my timer first. I didn't set up my timer. I want to basically have a timer that will close the door. There we go. And we're going to say 2 seconds. And we want to say closed. There we go. Now we can go back to our event controller. So when the door is open, we want to fire off that timer. So we will say start. So now when I open the Hab door, it should close it 2 seconds later. There we go. Now I don't have to remember to close the door. Yay. What I do need to remember to do is fill up all my stuff and eat. Really looking forward to getting some of these better meals going. I've been busy growing and getting some seeds and stuff together. Right now, pretty much everything is in seed form, so we can't really make any of the fancy food. Alright, we're going to do a massive weld with all these farms. But before I do that, I want to get Izzy set up so it can maintain the parts in stock. And I think I may even build another... Should I build another assembler? I think I could put another assembler here, but then I wouldn't be able to put the speed modules on it. And it's a pretty fast assembler. So let me get that set up. It's going to take a little bit of fiddling, and then I'll walk you through how that works. And we will start welding the farms. And my goal this episode is to get the automatic harvest set up. So we're going to use this as a welder, and then I'm going to convert it into a harvester, basically. Be right back. Alright, that was pretty simple. I just had to pull up the guide real quick and get re-familiar with it. So I've renamed one of the LCD panels, and then it puts this text on there, and then you edit it. So this is how much we have, this is how much we want to maintain. So I'm just walking down through here, setting up some common levels. Girders, those are used quite a bit in the windows, if I remember correctly, as well as some of the catwalk stuff. So let's keep quite a few of those on hand. I don't care about the hydrogen bottle. And I went ahead and made a ton of interior plate. So let's just keep at least like 400 of that on hand. Large tubes, 100 is fine. We're going to ignore the meal pack. I think there's a suffix we can put on there. Motors, we want a lot of motors. Radio, we don't really care too much about. Ammo, we don't care too much about. Small tubes, want lots of small tubes. Steel plates, let's keep a couple thousand of those on hand. And there we go. Let's hit OK. We can put an H after there, it looks like, to hide it. Or don't manage and hide. So I is what we want. You can hear the assembler now is going forth and doing stuff. So if I go back to this auto crafting and go to edit text, this stuff I don't care about. We're going to put a capital I after that. We'll manage those manually. Actually, these I want to keep. I want to keep those on hand. That's the gun ammo. All right, so you can see it has a little A there. It's auto crafting up more small tubes because we didn't have enough, and then it's going through the rest of the stuff. You can set priorities and whatnot. Oh, I've been struck by a chunk of ice because it is storming. Ow. Oh, it is freezing. I haven't actually planted anything in freezing. That would be a good test. Do I have any seeds on me? Let me grab a vegetable seed. Oh no, I did have stuff planted. Okay, so freezing. So freezing will affect it. The cold doesn't, but freezing does. Alright. Now we know. Yeah, so I tested in cold. I forgot. It can get colder than cold. I really wish there was an easier way to do this. It's rather than all this clicking and faffing around with the mouse. Alright, well, I wasted some veggies. Such is life. I should have been up here and harvested those. But I didn't. So, we will need to get that enclosed before we do any planting. So let me go back to, where's all my seeds? They're all in here. Really? Is that all the vegetable seeds? I had planted all but 2. Whoops! Another thing I noticed is everything grows faster than the wheat or the grain. So, that's a thing. Alright, this storm is going to kind of kick my butt, but we should have a decent amount of parts on. Let's go ahead and send the drill, or sorry, the welder down. So I've got this little temporary control panel set up here. And I'm going to have, is it going? There it goes. Well, that's going too fast. I need to slow that back down. I was bringing it back. I could type here, so we want these guys. Set their velocity at about 0.2. I think that'll let it, that might let it weld up. Alright, let's let that weld. We get in a safe cockpit here. As we'll munch on a kelp crisp. So we'll just let that run down through and see if we can get all those welded up. And then we're going to be building a lot of glass. So once the welding's done, I can actually bring this piston down. But I think I want to have it to be able to retract upwards a bit, so it's not in the way of me planting. So we're going to need to go up like 3 more windows. It's going to be a pretty tall greenhouse. And there's other ways to do this. I liked Dread Mechanics' approach. He always does little bots. He's really good at making little bots. So he had a little bot that would just go down the aisle and collect stuff. That was pretty cool. So if you're not familiar with Dread Mechanic, go check him out on YouTube. He does some really, really awesome space engineer stuff. Very inventive, very out-of-the-box kind of stuff. Alright, let's slam down another kelp crisp. So we're not going to starve. We always have kelp crisps. But I want to get some better food going. Yeah, so what is this mostly out of? Short on construction components. Got it. Alright, let's go. Oh wow, that actually hit something. Whoa, crap! Nice! Good job, turret. Hey, it looks like meat's back on the menu. Oh, it's full. Like, why can't I put that in there? Ow. Do I have, oh, I don't have it set up for that. Alright. Cook mammal meat forever. Alright, let me hop back in the safety of the canopy here. And if we go to auto crafting, construction components, we need to keep a lot more of those on hand. Let's go ahead and bump that to 400 as well. And let's have 800 on the interior plate. We got a ton of interior plate. I don't remember how I accidentally queued up like 12,000 of those, but I did. So. We run low on iron. We can always uncraft those. But what's our hold up on production here? Oh, nothing. It's just chugging away. All right. It is fast, but it is only one assembler, so there is that. So once those are done, we will reverse it again. Let it fly down through there. One thing I set up on my little flyer here, so when I'm docked, I can go over to my 2 panel, and I can pop into any of the tiny miners. So I actually told them all to just stop because we had enough stuff for now. So they're just sitting idle. Plus, I like to have them docked when I save and quit. Alright, let's go ahead and send those down. So if we go look for Pistons FC group, and I say reverse, it should start walking down and welding a lot of that stuff up. And then we need a whole bunch of girders and glass. We've got a decent amount of glass. How are we doing on girders? Girder. Looks like we're set for 200. And then once we're caught up, you know, it tends to stay caught up. It's using a ton of construction components right now, building out these farm plots. While I'm here, so this Pistons group, actually no, the welders, then I had the piston on, off, and reverse. So that's, I've got my little button panel up here. So I can see a few it didn't weld up, but it's getting pretty close. Like the ice storm is continuing. Is it still like dangerous? Or is that snow? I think that is ice. Alright, I don't want to be here when the welder comes through. It's really hard to see this lab door. Alright, I think we're good. I'm going to go ahead and turn the welders off and let it retract. Oh no, we're not quite good. Okay, I can't jump apparently. Yeah, it's just still need a few more construction components. Well, let's actually let it run back over. It'll make sure every single thing is all done. Always want to go out the wrong side of that. Alright, so turn the welders back on and reverse. So this has to go in through there. So I think I don't know how I'm going to pressurize it, I guess is the thing. So I may have to completely rethink how I'm doing this. Have it like down the middle or something. Or I do have conveyors going all the way through. Or make an extension on the back on the other end that has the piston. But this was set up mainly to weld. And I thought I wasn't going to have to pressurize, but we are definitely going to have to pressurize. Because all our crops will die if it's freezing. So it'll be this kind of same setup, only I'm going to have, instead of welders, there'll be collectors here. And then the collectors will come along just above the farm. And the plan is to set up an event controller, so it'll basically sit at the end. And if I could get the numbers right, I could have it start when everything's grown. Or I may just have a button, so it may come back here and like retract up a bit. And then I just hit a button to harvest. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But it does look like we have everything welded up. Let's have it do one more pass with the welders on. And then we need to get started on some glass. I'm going to go ahead and put the two main glass things. No, it's called windows, isn't it? Windows. So I want... I could have done the 1x2s, couldn't I? Instead of the individuals. Oh well. I do have these already set up on here, so maybe I will just use those. So I think this was the... Yeah, I was using the inverted. And I'm putting it on this block because I want to have probably a catwalk around the outside. Speaking of which, I need to make another layer here. Let me get some parts. Also, let me turn off the welder before I kill myself. There we go. Here, your little cargo. Let's grab a bunch more of you. A few more of you. Where's my construction components at? You can see we've got a lot of silicon now. We've been chugging through the silicon. Construction components. There we go. Get a few of you. Alright, so for the outside, I'm using kind of this block here. At least on these edges. So let's go ahead and continue that theme over here. And then I will be painting this at some point. Make it a little more decorative. And then I always forget which block is it that fits in between these. Is it on the other? There's a block somewhere. Yep, it's not on that one. Ah, here it is. It's this guy, right? Yeah. Only it needs to be the opposite direction. No. It needs to be... Come on. No? Is that not what I'm wanting? I guess that's not what I want. Yeah, I thought there was a piece that had a shoulder, so it fit with those. No, it's not that one. There we go. Knew it was in here somewhere. It's not on the same group as the piece that it matches with for whatever reason. So that's kind of the design right now. Let's get this thing under glass. So let me place a whole bunch of windows into a whole bunch of welding. It's going to be super riveting stuff. So I need girder to put these down. Fair enough. Forgot to grab the old girders. Girder. Let's grab 100 of those. So basically what I'm doing, I'm using these round ones on the corners, and then these guys I was just going down through there. I guess, do we have the two? I could do these. Why didn't I do that? Would that look better? Do we have an even number here? So we have that guy. Yeah, we could do flats.
Inventory full.
Yeah, inventory full. Story of my life. So this is the 3. So let's use these bigger panels where we can.
Inventory full.
Didn't really think that one through. There we go. And then how many blocks do we have here? We got 1. Well, we've got 8 of these. And then, yeah, so on this side we could use all of the 1x2s.
Inventory full.
What's making that noise? Nope. What is making a noise when I grind? Just being weird? I don't know. And then we can put the curved one here. There we go. And then we can do the 2-1-2. Actually, we don't have the door. So if we slid that over, we'd still have one weird one in the middle. We just do... Yeah, we could just do a door in the middle. I did a little weird down there. It doesn't matter. That whole end down there might change anyway, depending on how I end up doing the pistons. I need to weld some of this up, get rid of some parts. You get a girder, you get a girder, everybody gets a girder. Like I'm out of glass. Get the wolfie.
Inventory full.
Yeah, inventory lady. I know. Alright, so that's the basic footprint. Although I forgot I was going to have to make a... I need to figure out what I'm going to do with the pistons. So let me do some thinking. And I'm going to do a bunch more building. Because I know I need a bunch of glass up there and a roof. So I'm going to be engineering the crap out of that. And I'll be back. It's another bright, beautiful morning. Let me show you what I've been up to. I've been placing blocks like a madman. And this is what I come up with so far. I've got this fully enclosed. Of course, it's not welded up yet. So we're not going to be able to grow crops. But we're going to get the harvester sequence all sorted out. And then I'll do a bunch of welding in between episodes. We'll get some stuff planted next episode. And get to growing like crazy. So I'm pretty happy with this design. I played around a lot with the different sizes of windows and whatnot to get it all kind of symmetric. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it worked out. So I got all that welding to do, and then I ended up just enclosing this back part, and I'll add some decoration and girders and, you know, stuff to make it look a little more interesting. But I try not to just make it a box, but like most of my stuff, it is a box. But we'll add some decoration to make it more interesting. I think I've got enough now that it will be airtight. So we've got that going for us. But anyway, we need to get lost in here, because that's really easy to do. I'm thinking, should I do a different door? I need to go finish welding the collector, but I'm going to get completely sidetracked here. Nope, we want that. And then... I didn't really want to do another lab door, but that might make the most sense. That's dark on the outside. I do need girder to build that, don't I? Maybe that would make the most sense to have another lab door here. Kind of fits in with the stairway and whatnot. Let's go ahead and build that so I can see where I'm supposed to pass through it. And then I had just enough parts here to finish out this last collector, I believe. There we go. Alright, so those are all set. I did have to rearrange the pipes a bit, because these are in pairs. And then I've got my piston set, so it is the right height. This is kind of vibrating a little bit. I need to do the inertia tensor probably on that one. I think I already did it on these guys. Yeah, let's see. Does that get rid of the jitters? Is it jittering or is it the sun? Maybe, no, it is jittering. Weird. I don't know why it's jittering, but that's okay. So I kind of want a control panel for this. I don't really know. Maybe since I've done this, I might actually redo the stairway just a bit. I don't really need a light armor block there right now. Yeah, let's move this a bit. So if I get my stairs... Like, that looks wrong. It's because it's upside down. Ugh. There we go. Oh, and then I can't get back here. No, I can come around the other side and get to the cargo. All right, so if we come up here, then it might make sense to have... This should probably be interior block. So we're not inside. This area has kind of changed back and forth between inside and outside as I designed this. So I come up here, and then I was thinking we'd have like a little control panel here, and I want to do probably the science station button. I thought I had buttons on here somewhere. Maybe I don't. Now we do. So with the sci-fi button panel, you can do like images and stuff. So we'll make it a little fancier. There we go. All right, so we need to set up some timer blocks. So I want to have... Right now I just want to set up a button that will harvest. Then I'll have a button that'll reset. So if we come here, it doesn't let me name it from there. So what do we need to do when we harvest? The normal position of this at rest is going to be back and up. That way we can get in here, we can plant, it's not in our way. So we want a timer that will do various things. Let's bring up the control panel. If we go look for timer, I want to rename a couple of these. So we're going to say reset name, new naming, timer block. Harvest. I'm going to say replace name. Then we're going to have... So we'll have a reset, so we can basically cancel the other stuff. I think. I'm just making this up as I go. So our harvest block, I need to figure out at some point, we'll have like a harvest done. Maybe we'll just do it this way. I'll have a harvest start and a harvest done. So when it gets all the way down to the end, I want to bring it back, and we can use probably event controllers for that. But at the start, we want this to be silent. We don't want any delay. First thing we want to have happen is our lift piston to retract. I believe that will just go to its limits then. And that needs to wait just a bit. So we're going to need another one of these. The problem with not having a plan before you record is this, but that's okay. And then Harvest 2 is going to have enough of a delay that it can lower the stuff. So let's start with 2 seconds, and we'll see how that goes. While I'm here, I'm just going to set all these to silent. They don't need to beep. So our Harvest 1 is going to start these coming down. And then it's going to say, hit the start on timer 2 for the harvest. And then the second button It's going to grab this pistons FC, and it's going to say extend those. And then it should just come down and go all the way to the end. So this button now, we say this will be harvest. It's going to be this one, and it'll be trigger now. This should come down. That's probably not enough time, is it? We needed more like 4 seconds. So let's go adjust that. Let's go to full 5. We'll see if that's going to be enough. Then what we can do is go to pistons and reverse. And reverse. Oh. Did I not do this one either? Whoops. We'll finish that up. Why did these quit reversing? Oh, is it hitting on something? Oh, is it too high? I thought it was up there. Okay, let's turn these off for now. Let's see, is it hitting on something? I'm not sure what's going. Oh, it is. I thought I had it set so it wouldn't hit the glass. My bad. So we want to set this max to less than that. So I'm going to reverse that. We're going to turn this back on. So its maximum needs to be, let's call it 7, possibly. I guess it's, yeah, I guess with the welders it was way up there. So really it needs to go up only about, say, 2 meters. Not that much. Let's call that 5.5 and we'll see how that goes. And then let's turn these guys back on. Stuck on the button panel. Yeah, now we got plenty of room. We could even come up another, I'll call it meter and a half. We do 6.5, so they're nice and high. Oh yeah, that gives us plenty of clearance still. That'll work. Okay, so now we can start the harvest. We need an event controller for when these guys get all the way extended. So we're going to say event controller harvest done. This is going to be our piston position. Once they are at 100%, I'm going to add these guys, and we do want that to be an and. So both of them, once they're both at 100%, then we will take an action. And that action is, so when true, so when they both are extended, then we want to say groups. We want to say actually let's start lifting. So FC lift, we want to extend. And then these guys we want to retract on page 2. And then we're not doing anything in the meantime. They're just kind of doing their own thing. Okay, in theory, I can push this button and it will, quote-unquote, harvest. So let's try it. It's going to come down. Does it have time to get all the way down? Not quite. We need to go maybe 6 seconds on that. Other than that, it was pretty darn close. Then I'll have to check, once I get this all airtight, I'll have to check and see, is that close enough to harvest? I've never done this before, so I don't know. Don't know how those work with the plants. I've only used them in like grinder pits and stuff. I need doors here. I forgot I was going to do that. So, can't really have my control panel there, can I? I want to redo those doors. How bad is it if I had my sci-fi button panel here? Oh, I miscalculated. I'm just messing everything up. Retract. Retract! Before it blows something up. So they are... Yeah, they can't go quite the full distance. I forgot about that. I forgot to set the limit on those pistons. So we come up the stairs. We still have plenty of room, right? We come up the stairs. Yeah, we can still get. And then I want a door here each way. So this is our lab door. Need girder to build lab door. Sure do. So we'll have a lab door there and a lab door here. Then I need to replace this panel.
Inventory full.
Yeah. Let's get rid of some of the inventory. I'll put that in the wrong spot. It's not doing anything right today. Throw all that stuff in there. You're fine. I was putting the door in the wrong place, I think. Yeah, the door needs to be here. Alright, what do we need for the door? I think it was girders and such. Yeah, so this guy needs to be here. There we go. Put the door in the right place, and then we're good. Cool, and like I said, I'm going to put... Those lab doors are tricky. When you're on the clear side, it's really hard to tell which way you go in. Anywho, let's get this guy built back up. I want to put catwalks all around the outside. There's a lot of detailing and stuff I want to do before this is all said and done. If you haven't used these before, if you have the, I forget which DLC pack it is with ESRA DLC, but they're kind of neat because you can come down here to this button and you can say harvest, and it's going to be text, and then I'm going to get over here so I can kind of see what I'm doing through the background. So I want this to be, it's usually about font size 6, I think. And I want it to be centered, and then you can use the text padding to kind of line it up this way. We'll call it 20%. See how that goes. And you can change the color. Let's make it green. A nice happy green color. Here we go. And then somewhere on this menu we can do edit text. You can also set like textures in the background. Actions, there it is. That's what I was trying to find. Then we want our harvest timer, harvest 1 to be a trigger now. There we go. And then I thought there was a way to set it so it doesn't show the text. So let's make this 5. I'll have to look around at that. I thought there was a way to have it not have the hover. Oh, here it is. Delete the button name. Then we just have a little harvest button. And then if I hit that, it should come down. And then to start harvesting. And then it should, in theory, go all the way down. Except I forgot to set those limits again. So let's do that. Maximum distance needs to be, let's call it 9. 9.4. We'll see where we end up down here. And if I want to get fancier, I could add timers so it would come down, stop, retract, and then, or go up and then retract. If I want to get a little fancier. And that event controller percentage position is based off the like min max. Okay, so 9.4 is a little far. So almost another 1.5 meters. So we could try like 8. It's really they're starting here. These are 2.5, right? These 2.5 meters. So that's what? 20 meters worth of extension? In theory? But, yeah, that didn't quite work out, did it? I'm doing my math wrong. Would it be 20 minus the initial 2.5? Yeah, that's what I'm doing wrong. So 17.5. No, that'd be 18.5. Oh, it'd be 16 and then 1.5, so 0.75. Maybe? I'm tired. Alright, we did a harvest. We did a thing. Let's go temporarily disable the event controller so it doesn't retract, and we'll check our distance. I'm excited. I can't wait to start growing crops in here. Getting massive number of seeds so we can plant, at least initially, I'm going to probably have each side here. We'll do like veggies and stuff over here, and the middle 4 rows are going to be all wheat. Got to keep headquarters happy, right? And then I want to build up a stock of food for us. One thing I didn't talk about yet is the ventilation. So let's go take a look at that real quick. So underneath here, I've got a tank. I've got 2 input fans. They're going to fill this tank. I probably will set up an event controller. Whoa, crap. So it does that. Did they shoot at it? Where'd he go? Or was that him dying? Scared the crap out of me. Where are you? I didn't hear the guns fire. What happened? Oh, he died over here. Okay, I don't know how you died, but I'll take your 4 meat. Thank you for your contribution. So anyway, I may have an event controller so it doesn't just fill the tank, but it doesn't really matter if it fills the tank, so I don't know. I may just keep it simple. Anyway, these fans... Oh, here comes a storm, just in time. These fans will fill up that tank, so then these fans will keep the greenhouse all nice and warm and cuddly. That's the plan, anyway. And I thought about like doing a double airlock or something, but I think we're going to be okay. It's a large enough volume that I can just quickly come in that door. I'll have another event controller. Actually, I might just use the same event controller. But I want it to be faster though, so I may have an event controller for any of these any of these farm doors that will just close them like immediately, like after a second. That way I can just duck in here. We'll see how it goes. But oh yeah, there we go. That math almost worked out. It could be just a little shorter. It's struck by a chunk of ice. Yeah, unbuilt stuff doesn't protect you. I've got them off right now just so they're not spinning needlessly. But that's what those are for. Let's play around just a little bit with the max extension before we call this. So maybe we could do 8.8. Go a little further. That was a little too far, wasn't it? It didn't need to be very much further. $8.77 maybe? Am I looking at that backwards? Probably. Yeah, control panel on the other end of the room. Yeah, I was thinking about it backwards. It needs to be just back a little more. I was going the other direction. It's been a long week at work. My brain is fried. I'm getting ready to take about 5 days off of work. I'm really looking forward to that. Let's try 8.68. Does that line up nice and it's just not, it's just a little too much. We're gonna go with 8.65 and we're gonna call that good enough. Said before changing it again. Now we're gonna call that good. All right, folks, I'm gonna do a ton of welding in between episodes. And we'll be back. We're going to start growing and harvesting some crops in the next episode in a somewhat automated fashion. As I say goodbye, I'm going to go weld this up because I've already forgotten again. Thanks as always for watching. And I'll catch you in the next adventure. Take care.